there, and welcome back to yet another episode of Be Encouraged Moments. As always, we are so grateful that you are here, and we will continue to remind you of that.
Yes, we will.
As we've told you before, this is a happy place for you, and we hope that you're finding some joy and some peace and some happiness here as well. Today, we are going to be talking about the journey to the tomb and what that means for us. As I'm sure you're all aware, because the stores and the internet and everything else is letting us know that Easter is rapidly approaching.
Easter.
Yes. But this coming Sunday marks the last Sunday in Lent, which is followed by Holy Week. But what does that mean? The obvious answer, I already said, is that it is ushering in Easter and the empty tomb. But do you know the story? I mean, really know the story? We can't get to an empty tomb without Palm Sunday and Holy Week. I have done videos and I have done podcasts on this subject many times before, and I will continue to do them because I do not think that this is a topic that can be overdone. The journey to the tomb is an incredibly important part of our faith journey because it lays out how great the sacrifice was for us. As I already said, this Sunday is Palm Sunday, and it marks Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. And then I'm going to quote, the crowds welcomed him by waving palm branches in the air and shouting, "Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest." By the end of the week, Jesus will have been laid in a tomb only 5 short days after they welcomed him and shouted in the streets. What happened during this week? I encourage you to go and read more about these. On Monday, Jesus clears out the temples. On Tuesday, Jesus goes to the Mount of Olives. On Wednesday, it's referred to as Holy Wednesday. There's not a lot of text on this particular day. It's assumed that Jesus and the disciples went to rest, but there are theories out there, and I think they're worth reading. Passover and the Last Supper on Thursday, which is referred to as Maundy Thursday. And then Friday, the trial, the crucifixion, death, and he's buried. Saturday is the day he's in the tomb. And then obviously Sunday, which goes into Easter. I encourage you, as I've already said, to read the stories, find the stories. There are so many resources out there available to you to find a story that makes sense to you, that resonates with you. But I don't just want you to read the story. I want you to put yourself in the story. I want you to imagine the things that played out during that week. I encourage you to ask questions. As I said, Holy Week is approaching us. So this is an ample opportunity for you to get the material and spend each day, even if it's just a little bit of time, imagining yourself in the story. What was the Last Supper really like? What was it like to say goodbye to a friend that you knew was going to die? What was it like to watch the trial? What would you have done? Would you have joined the crowds? Would you stood up for the man that you believed in? As a mother, can you imagine what Mary must have experienced? Jesus was flesh and blood, a man sent to earth to live among us. I want you to stop, and I want you to really think about the man who wept in the garden, the man who pleaded with his Father, the man that knew beyond a doubt that his followers would betray him. A man who endured unthinkable pain, beatings, lashings, thorns dug into his skull. The man who had words and stones hurled at him as he carried his own cross up the hill. The man who bled, the man who died for us. There's a song out there, which I'm sure many of you have heard. There's many variations of this song. My personal favorites are the a cappella versions that are very soulfully sung.
Beautiful.
It's called "Were You There?" And I'm paraphrasing. Obviously, there's a lot more depth to this song. But the reason I love this song, every single time I hear it, every year, I hear it every year because it's part of our services, It sends chills down my spine. We always do it in a completely dark room, which then just drives the effect home. But I think that if you really let the words resonate, it will transport you there. It will challenge you to ask questions because it itself is a question. So as I said, the name was Were You There? I don't know who originally wrote it. The lyrics are, were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? Were you there when they pierced him in the side? Were you there when the sun refused to shine? Were you there when they laid him in the tomb? Sometimes it causes me to tremble. And it really does. The notion that this man sacrificed so much for someone he loved so much. Allow yourself to go deep with this. No matter what your faith journey is, no matter where you're at, there is a way for you to go deep with this. If you don't know the story, learn the story. If you know the story, go even deeper than you have before. Allow yourself to journey all the way to the cross and just try to begin to wrap your mind around the sacrifices that were made for us. Be encouraged today. You are so loved that God sent his only Son to walk among us and gave him over to suffer and to die to free us from our sins. Thank you, as always, for joining us for our Be Encouraged moment.